All right, awesome. Well, I'm here with my friend Phil Chun, who runs Polaris Leadership Consulting, and we've gotten to know each other really well over the past 4 or 5 months as part of Blueprint Founder Circle. This is gonna be a different video in that Phil is gonna be kind of my counselor because I'm like processing through some stuff. And what we're gonna talk about is this conviction that I have that for Portland to rise, it can't just be on 1 or 2 people, the mayor and police chief and what have you. It needs to be on a groundswell of thousands of us. And so I'm a big believer in this notion of every human is a leader in terms of self-leadership and showing up as their best self. Your company, what I love about this conversation is why I thought of you for this is that most leadership consultants work with the CEO and the top execs only. You really specialize in mid-level managers and kind of folks earlier in their career moving up. And so if you could give us a framework for kind of leadership and what you do, and then if we look at Portland as this like coalition of companies and organizations, how could it be helpful for someone who's earlier in their leadership journey to get outside of their company and involved in Portland and then bring some of that perspective back for their path?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me. This is I almost equate it to, when you watch Tiny Desk concerts on NPR.
Okay,
you've seen
I like that. I hadn't thought of that. This is the first time.
So it's like the behind the scenes look. So part of what I do, I think most of the time is really just increasing somebody's self-awareness. And a lot of that looks like when I work with first-time managers, mid-level management, helping them understand what the different transitions look like as they go from one position to another. And then within that, giving them kind of a clear pathway as to how they can develop or update their mindset. One of the things that I love about my job is it's really about combining kind of growth mindset and a very personal transformation that happens as you become a leader across different stages. And so that's largely what I do, and probably the thing I love talking about the most. When it comes to what you've talked about with Portland and what we're talking about now, I think it's so important as a foundation for people to realize how much individual impact each person can have, whether they are a titled leader or whether they're a non-titled leader. Every person has the ability to make impact and add to the culture of a place. And the other thing that just comes to mind as you talk about it is really how important it is to meet other people who are doing different things, because so much of growth comes from feedback loops of people that are different from you. And so getting out and going to We Believe or going to do different things and volunteering or even working at different places, like just the ability to get different perspectives is such an important part.
So you bring up We Believe in Portland. We talked about this before the video, but I think I have unrealistic expectations because it just took off in this surreal, beautiful, amazing way. We had a year ago 1,800 people show up, and that happens twice a year. It's this uplifting experience. And then I started another thing that is asking volunteers to get a whole lot more uncomfortable in Old Town, doing outreach to homeless there, getting to know their names, having shelter passes and other things. And we have about a half dozen volunteers show up on any given Tuesday or Friday, but they're coming back every week. But it got me thinking of like, what is stopping people from doing the hard things? And I wanted to get real about, like, I'm in this really privileged position. I'm empty nester. I'm chairman of thesis and not like running the company, so I have more time on my hands. you've got an 18-month-old adorable daughter, like you're just starting your business, and so like don't have a lot of time. So what's real, but you work with a whole bunch of clients, of people like your clients. What's realistic for people of how they can engage, and what benefit can you get at the individual level by engaging outside your company?
Yeah. I think so much of it comes down to redefining impact and leadership. Those terms, if, even for me, as I watch you on LinkedIn and as I see you do what you do, sometimes I fall into the trap of, Ryan's got it. Like he is doing the thing. He is out there. He is gathering people, and so I can just sit back and relax and kind of let change happen. And so I think part of it is just redefining, again, for each individual, impact and leadership. I know, well, I have a question for you. I know you work really hard to create these great organizations and movements. I also know in a little ways you're kind of an impatient innovator.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You want change to happen.
Impatience
now.
is a strength, right?
It's also probably the kind way to describe what some people experience. My question to you is, okay, I think people need to continue to realize that they are leaders, whether or not they are titled or not, right? I think everyone is a self-leader and has the ability to create impact. I'm more curious for you, as you talk about the things you started and the impact you want to see, like what do you want? What does progress look like for you?
Yeah, I think anyone who's been in Portland for a few years, like this place is special. Like just the parks and the outdoors and the people are like way friendlier than back east where I came from, stuff like that. So there's just a lot to be grateful for, and it's one of those, once you start the flywheel of getting involved and being around other engaged Portlanders who inspire one another, it's kind of addictive in a good way, and you get more out of life. Like it's life-giving. And so I'm just grappling with why I have so many conversations with friends where something's stopping them from like the inspiring conversation to actually showing up and doing something that gives back. So I guess that's where I am, because ultimately I think Portland is in a unique position to really thrive and win when we look at where businesses will move, because we're in an economy where our region competes with other regions to attract, like if we don't have jobs in Portland, like all of this kind of goes away, like this like halo effect. And I think, I've said it a bunch of times, like, yes, public safety and homelessness is priority number one. Priority number two is tax reform, because our local economy has been hit really hard with the hits to Intel and Nike, and I think it's starting to come back, but we need to engage everybody, be different than other cities, be the city that is about radical hospitality, and that is that's how we win. And so I don't think Portlanders on an individual level see that vision.
What I find most interesting about what we were talking about is, to me, it sounds like what you're trying to make more accessible is actually effective engagement.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it be through We Believe or other things. Like, you want to provide a pathway for Portlanders to feel like they can be engaged and then actually become engaged.
And that it's a benefit to them on an individual level. When they go back into their organizations, they are basically have more leadership skills to move up.
Yeah. Okay. And I know you're kind of interviewing me, but I want to.
Keep it coming.
I want to interview you in it for a second. I mean, I agree with you, especially as somebody who has a young kid. That Portland is our home. I want to be able to bring my daughter to downtown Portland and hold her hand and walk around and window shop to all the businesses that are not currently open right now. And to me, yes, that does take engagement. It takes the community to walk the streets and spend the money and make downtown lively again, as it has been doing. Mm-hmm. What I'm curious about for you is, what more do you want people to do? What different do you want people to believe about themselves? Like, because to me, part of what you're talking about is impact, right? Everyone's understanding of impact of what they can and can't do.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that. I do think, before we were talking about, like, how does Portland do the hard thing? Mm-hmm. Super inspiring to see how Portlanders took kind of de-escalated, took a lighthearted approach with the frog outfits and all that stuff at protests. And there's some systemic things, like I said, tax reform and things like that the average Portlander can't really impact. Yeah. It really is just like, it's kind of, not only is it engaging in volunteerism, but it is finding coalitions around a particular cause, whether it's public safety, homelessness, and addiction recovery. That's one place where a whole bunch of people and organizations can come together to move the needle without relying on billions of dollars. I just think that it's, as a business person, to see so much waste of a failed strategy and not get engaged, that's a big miss. And I feel like we have momentum, but it's taking longer than it should.
Yeah, I mean, I part of what I hear you talk about, again, and I would agree with you, is both when it comes to organizations and leadership and, a city like Portland, it is so important to understand the power of one's voice. And so whether it be getting involved in committees or coalitions across Portland, or even within your own organization, if there are committees within that organization, like professional resource groups or interest groups, having everyone engage in that kind of self-leadership of meeting other like-minded people, but also being involved in coalitions that might stretch or challenge you and your perspectives and your paradigms, I think really does amount to growth. And in many ways, the increase of empathy that allows us to work more effectively together.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like a bunch of past videos with Rakaya and Ben San, and it's like finding that balance of empathy and accountability is the key. And we've been, we've come from a place of like really being far on empathy without the accountability there, and I'd love to see us come to the radical middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I will also add, as a non-Portland native, Portland is a really amazing city because your voice can be heard, right? It is small enough in a sense versus, say, Los Angeles, where if you want to be involved and you want to make impact, it can really happen, especially, but it requires time, energy, and commitment. Intentionality, yeah. And again, I think it's great for people to come to We Believe, once or twice a year to clean the city. Yeah. But I really think the challenge is, kind of like you're mentioning, the commitment towards being involved in much more regular ways.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I know we're at time, but thanks. I always learn new stuff, and thanks for dropping some knowledge on us. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
All right, cheers.